Hello, folks, and welcome to Starsector. I'd actually heard about this game quite a while back. I had some interest in it, went to buy it, and I ended up I don't remember what happened, but I ended up buying a game on Steam instead. I can't remember what it's called, but I somehow got confused and thought this was it. That was this. I got the refund. Then never proceeded to buy this, till I saw Seth's review for it and was like, must get. So, let's play a bit of it. Been a little rough and loose with the audio testing. Maybe it would be prudent to do some tutorials. Welcome to Starsector Combat Tutorial. This part will go over the combat basics. Let's get started. Your flagship for this tutorial is a Hammerhead class destroyer. First things first, let's learn how to get it moving. By the way, you can pause and unpause the game anytime by pressing space. A and D to turn, W and S to accelerate forward or back, and C to bring your ship to a halt. Give this a try, and stop it when you feel ready. Okay, apparently it's going at 90 backwards there, but it does not feel like it. Okay, no, it feels like it. It just when this is accelerating. Drop it. I know, I swear for a moment there it feels like it goes faster than it otherwise is. It's just an illusion, but yeah, the ship feels like it's going through tar. Like, goddamn. Okay, hold to do that. Oh yeah, hold C. Moving the mouse also pans your view. You can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Ships can also strafe sideways. This is particularly useful when you want to move while keeping your front-facing weapons pointed at your target. Ship will turn towards your mouse pointer while you strafe, so keep the pointer on the target. Now there's an enemy ship at 12 o'clock, an Enforcer class destroyer. Its weapons and maneuvering systems are disabled. Let's try strafing. Hold shift and press A or D to circle around the enemy ship. Also need W and S to manage distance. Continue until you feel comfortable with it. Yeah, you'll orbit if you have to keep this tracked on it, which you're okay. Yeah, it's very much not a thing you can just like hold here and wow. It's very much not something you can just you can't just hold down sideways and strafe. You do need to fiddle a little with the make sure you don't just drift far away from it. So, yeah. Oh, now onto weapons. The Hammerhead's weapons are organized into 3 groups. 1, 2, and 3 switch between groups and left click to fire to select the group. Already comfortable. Guided missiles require target. By default, they'll lock onto the enemy nearest to your cursor when you fire. And also lock onto a specific enemy to ensure the missiles go after it. See more information about it. Press R to target it. R again to clear it. Now onto defenses. Most ships use shields to defend against incoming damage. The Hammerhead has front-facing shields, but some ships have omnidirectional shields, can rotate to face threats from any direction. Right-click to turn on your shields. Firing most weapons, excluding missiles, generates flux. Your ship has a limited flux capacity, and managing what you use it on is key to survival. You can see your current flux level on the info display in the lower left corner of the screen. Fire your assault chain guns. I've read that as assault chungus for a bit, and watch how they build up flux, then continue when ready. Rendered it spinning. It's spoiling now. Alright. The flux from firing these dissipates almost as quickly as it's generated. Different ships and ship loadouts can dissipate flux at different rates, and so can support varying amounts of weapons effectively. Shields generate flux continuously while they're up, and generate even more flux every time they absorb damage. So even if you're not taking any damage on the shields, keeping them off will let you put out more firepower. Let's see how these shields hold up under fire. I'll click to turn it on. The enemy ship has stopped firing, but your flux level still isn't going down. Flux gained when shields absorb damage is called hard flux, and only dissipates when shields are off, so you can't keep shields up indefinitely while taking damage. Flux gained from firing weapons is called soft flux, and can dissipate while shields are up. The notch in the flux bar indicates your hard flux level. Good. Now let's see what happens if you keep your shields under fire too long. As you can see, it's not good. When flux maxes out from shield hits, your ship overloads. When ship's overloaded, it can't fire or raise shields. Dissipates flux very slowly, but you can still maneuver normally. Wait for overload to end. Now that the ship is no longer overloaded, flux is back to dissipating at a normal rate. You can also vent flux to dissipate it at double speed. At double the normal rate. While venting, your ship can't fire your shield, so you generally only want to do it when it's safe for you to vent flux. Good. Now, as you can see, you've been flanked by a pair of Lasher-class frigates. They're going to start launching missiles at you. Fortunately, these missiles aren't very effective versus well-armored ships. Just sit tight and let them take off a few volleys. Get off a few volleys. It'll be nice to shoot these down. We've got some point defense lasers just for that, but it's almost impossible to manually target all incoming missiles. Fortunately, you can set any weapon group on auto-fire, making weapons identify and attack targets on their own. Press Control Tree to enable auto-fire on the point defense lasers in Group Tree. Make sure you have a different group selected. Selecting an auto-firing group will result in a manual override of its controls. Note that the lasers switch to attacking the missiles as soon as they're launched. Point defense weapons prioritize targeting missiles. Regular weapons will not target missiles automatically. Each ship also has a special system, an active ability it can perform. For the Hammerhead, it's an accelerated ammo feeder that greatly increases the rate of fire for ballistic weapons. Some ship systems have limited uses. Some generate flux, some have a cooldown. Some use a combination of those. The accelerated ammo feeder must cool down before it can be used again. Press F to activate the accelerated ammo feeder and fire the chain guns to see its effect. Damn. Doubles the rate of fire and halves its flux use. Congratulations, you completed the basic combat tutorial. Ships consume supplies for maintenance based on their supplies/month stat, and consume extra supplies when recovering CR or undergoing repairs. Okay, let's get into it and see what happens. Huh. There's a selection of missiles you can do, apparently. But then there's also normal campaign. Okay, Palanai. Normal, mixed. Oh, that's creepy. We'll stick with this one. To gain 2000, your most recent occupation was as a bounty hunter, commanding a wolf-class frigate, a scavenger commanding a wayfarer-class combat freighter, an explorer leading a salvage expedition from aboard an apogee-class cruiser. Faster start. Bounty hunter. The Wolf class is a sleek and deadly combat frigate with a middling logistical stats, best used near civilization or with the support of other ships with better capacity for carrying fuel and supplies. Scavenger. The Wayfarer is an ungainly vessel with an excellent capacity for carrying cargo, fuel, and crew. Its combat ability is limited but not to be discounted. Designed to operate on the fringes of society, this freighter is quite capable of defending itself. A group of ships capable of performing salvage operations on the fringes of the sector, defending itself against most threats found there. Includes a tanker for increased fuel capacity and exploration range, and sufficient cargo capacity to carry the salvage back to core worlds. A mercenary leading a small force from aboard a Hammerhead-class destroyer. A small but highly combat-capable task force. What's the audio level like? It's a little loud, but it's perfectly within reasonable. Sorry, I'm just lowering my own audio down because it throws me off. A small but highly combat-capable task force geared towards bounty hunting. Includes a small tanker to extend its to exchange its range somewhat. Freelancer. A randomized collection of ships, slightly weaker overall than any of the faster start options, but roughly in the same category. Let's go with this. In addition, your fleet includes a Shepherd-class drone tender with a cargo of heavy machinery, or a Kite-class shuttle under command of an experienced subordinate. The Kite-class is a light and nimble ship with limited armament. Not capable of doing much damage itself, it is, however, capable of being a persistent distraction, especially in the hands of an officer with the right set of defensive skills. The Shepherd is not a combat ship, being both slow and fragile, and those drones are capable of providing decent support to another ship. However, its true value lies in a generous cargo hold and numerous salvaging and surveying-oriented hull features. Its cargo of heavy machinery is also useful in running salvage and surveying operations. Easy recommended for first time. Ships take 25% less damage, since range is increased by 500 units, salvage is increased by 50%. Feels wrong. Let's go with normal. Yeah, let's start with tutorial. I know I've already done one, but let's do another, to be safe. I've seen very little of this game, so I want to be, safe and sure. Welcome to the sector. Your fleet is in the middle of nowhere and critically low on supplies. Don't require more supplies. Your fleet will suffer through a slow but ultimately fatal decline. Fortunately, there's a debris field nearby. Move up into it and activate scavenge ability to search for useful cargo. It's possible to scavenge through the same debris field multiple times, but diminishing returns and increased risk with each attempt. Only scavenge once here. Make sure to take all supplies and any other valuable cargo, but feel free to leave the cheap and bulky metals behind. To get your fleet moving, click on an empty space in the direction you want to move. Here it is. Your fleet assumes a stable orbit relative to the debris field. The field appears stable and will not drift apart anytime soon. Long-range scans indicate it's likely something of value can be found inside. There are indications of some easy pickings to be had, and the risk of an accident during salvage operation is low, it says. The density of the debris field affects both the amount of resource and number of rare items found. So, crew machinery. We need 80 crew, 30 machinery, but we have only 46 and 20. Scavenging effectiveness 22%, plus 67% for heavy machinery available, plus 0% for scavenging skill, 10% fleet-wide scavenging capacity, by 0.57 if crew available, and 0.5 debris field density. If I move in a little deeper, would this help? Not in the slightest. It acknowledges the whole field. Ooh, what's this? Supplies. Assorted supplies required by ships and crew, ranging from rations and uniforms to munitions, spare parts, microfab feedstock, and prefab components. Seeing remote data, price data for various colonies requires being within range of a functional comm relay. Fuel. Standard starship fuel on which interstellar civilization relies. Composed of antimatter trapped in fluorine shells, mixed in a semi-stable foam with heavy isotopes of hydrogen. Very safe. Various standardized modules for manipulating matter on an industrial scale. They accept manual input, most common design template formats, or can be slaves to network control. Metals. Refined forms of both ferrous and common non-ferrous metals used in most construction and goods production. Ingots follow traditional domain standards. F5 to quick save and advance the tutorial. A pirate fleet is approaching. First, you'll spot it as a sensor contact, then as an unidentified fleet, then when it gets very close, you'll see its true colors. Don't worry, the pirate fleet is a shoddy rust bucket, and if you lose, you can press F9 to quick load. Even so, combat can be expensive, especially if there's no bounty on the enemy you fight. Deploying ships into battle reduces their combat readiness, recovering CR will consume supplies. Battle damage can cost even more supplies to repair. However, fighting is often necessary to survive. Wait for the pirate fleet to approach, and then defeat them. The pirate ship maneuvers to prevent you from disengaging easily. It does not appear to be certain of your identity. Any hostilities will have a reduced impact on your reputation. Open a comm link. Did the hegemony send you to do this errand for them? Come to collect the bill. Cut the contact. It's a rogue miner. We could have said, no. So I have to continue. Moving to engage. And the opposing fleet moves into joint battle. Continue. You can select which ships to deploy at the beginning of each battle, and deploy reinforcements as the battle goes on. Deploying a ship reduces combat readiness by a fixed amount. In addition, ships will begin to gradually lose combat readiness after their peak readiness time runs out. Covering it consumes time and valuable supplies. Deploy. the Co-Combine R450 Shepard sets the standard for civilian drone tenders with unmatched reliability, low cost. Wait, damn it! For some reason I thought it had. Okay, can I? I thought it had some degree of weaponry. Oh, combat drones. Hmm. Damn it. Actually, yeah, you know what? Retreat you from the field if you can't fight. Uh. How do I get off the screen? Ah, there we go. Wait. Wait. Forgetting the controls. I'm gonna F9. Okay, good. I've unpaused it. I'm gonna F9 that. Pirates is reduced by 3. They were able to recover 303 credits from CPU cores. Picture the wreckage. Got a tumper. Can I F9 it from here? Has just gone up, recovering it. I want to do that again and do it better. I just kind of blanked on how to actually control the damn game. Continue. Comlink. They should have sent the real Navy, not some ground pissing in their vac suit. Grounder pissing in their vac suit. Slaughterhouse massacre. Oh, you only get static. Alright, move to engage. Continue. Yeah, just apply this one. I just have to put shields up manually. Too used to, like, say, EVE Online, where it's on manually. I got less credits this time. and lost 2 crew. Did get Vulcan cannon though. Light assault gun, some metals and fuel. Same as normal, but at least this isn't costing anything more. With 4 character points to spend, F5 it. It's going to take me a bit to get used to the controls of this. You've gained a level. Normally you get 1 character point with each level up, but you get 3 additional points at the start of your campaign. You can spend each character point to increase aptitudes and skills. Each aptitude governs a set of skills, and the maximum level of skill is limited by the level of the governing aptitude. The maximum level you can reach is 50. Once character points are spent, they cannot be refunded. See to open your character tab and consider your options. You don't actually have to spend the points now if you don't want to. Okay, each thing has various levels to it. So there's combat, leadership, technology, and industry. And there's various levels to each one. So here with combat expertise. Through experience and planning, a seasoned officer's ability to extend the effective warfighting time of ship and crew during the extreme conditions of combat deployment. So level 1 is 25% increased peak operating time. Level 2 is minus 50% chance of malfunctions when at low combat readiness. And level 3 is plus 15% maximum combat readiness. All for the piloted ship. The next one is missile specialization. Missile systems are rolled onto themselves. An expert can override many safety parameters to achieve significant increases in performance. Level 1 is plus 25% missile speed and maneuverability for the piloted ship, with the hull mod ECCM package. Increases missile speed and guidance, reduces effective enemy EW. Next one is plus 25% missile, rocket, bomb, and torpedo hit points. With the hull mod expanded missile racks, increases missile weapon ammo. And level 3 is just 25% increase to missile damage. Well, this here is hard-won experience, as well as poring over tactical manuals and battle reports of the commander to formulate and carry out many advanced battle plans. Plus 3 command points, 50% faster command point recovery, and then the last one is 5% maximum bonus from combined maneuvers and electronic warfare. With the hull mod of Operations Center, increase the command point recovery when on a flagship. Officer management. Introducing new officers to a command hierarchy is always a risk. Personalities clash and authority may be challenged. A successful fleet commander knows not to let the number of officers they command exceed their ability. At a base level, it will command up to 4 officers. Level 1 makes that 6, 2 8, 3 10. Technology. Over time, the augmented reality presented by the implants becomes more and more difficult to distinguish from normal sensory input. Dedicated gunners often feel more kinship with their ship than they do with their crewmates. Minus 50% weapon recall for a piloted ship. Level 2 is 100% target leading accuracy when for auto-firing weapons. And level 3 is 15% ballistic and energy weapon range. Power grid modulation. Preventative maintenance and some inspired on-the-fly adjustments can greatly increase the capacity of the ship's power grid. 10% flux capacity, 25% flux dissipation rate when venting, 10% flux dissipation rate, full stop. Safety procedures. Practical experience under conditions of extreme wear on equipment is invaluable, and the lessons learned can extend to the life of both equipment and crew operating it. Minus 30% crew lost due to hull damage in combat, minus 30% crew lost in non-combat operations, and that's fleet-wide. Level 2, minus 50% combat readiness loss from being in a star corona or similar terrain, all ships and fleet. 50% reduced combat, combat readiness range in which malfunctions and other negative effects occur. All ships and fleet. Solar shooting reduces the effect of being in a corona or NG damage taken. Level 3's negative damage is negative effects of lasting damage, hull mods, D-mods reduced by 50% for all ships and fleet, and the emergency burn ability no longer reduces combat readiness for the fleet. Recovery operations. Extracting working equipment or even useful replacement parts out of wreckage requires broad technical knowledge, prudence, and a willingness to take calculated risks. Base chance to be recoverable is 50% for disabled enemy ships, and 50% is base chance to be recoverable is 25% for reduced enemy ships, and 50% for your ships. Base chance for weapons from disabled enemy ships to be recovered is 25%, and 100% for weapons from your ships. Ships that have broken apart have half the chance to be recoverable and always suffer lasting structural damage. Level 1 is plus 25% chance to recover weapons and fighter LPCs from enemy ships. Level 2 is 25% chance to recover disabled ships after battle. And level 3 is recovered ships have fewer D-mods on average and plus 50% fuel scavenged. This boosts field repairs, scavenging. The skills required to get the field to the most to find the most valuable items and extract the most resources out of various derelicts found on sector's fringes. Oh, this game is still in beta, by the by. It's been in development apparently for like 9 years odd, thereabouts. I think that's what Seth said in his video, but I don't remember when that video came out. So yeah, it's been there for a long time. It's still discounted, but it's been in development a long time. But I just don't remember how long. But it's very detailed. It's very well done, apparently. 50 plus 15% resources and rare items recovered from abandoned stations and derelicts. Remote survey. Do preliminary survey of all planets remotely. 30% resources and rare items, then 50% and plus 10% post-battle salvage. So point into that. Point into this. So, good. First, I was nervous initially that you had to like level this up through here, then put points in. But no, it's not nearly that cruel. The factory redline for an engine is set to the highest safe level, given variations within production runs from the same blueprint. An intuitive feel for the behavior of a specific engine allows a skill pilot to push its output to its true limits. Also get a point in this and that. And boost colony management. Juggling the competing needs of the outpost colonies and way stations under one's personal control, as well as the ministers assigned to govern the rest, requires a specialist set of both interpersonal and logistic skills. At a base level, able to manage up to one minister and to personally govern 2 colonies. Maximum number of colonies can be exceeded at the cost of a stability penalty. Industrial planning. While the typical economy of a colony is not centralized, sound planning is critical to channeling that economy in most productive and profitable fashion. Wing Commander. We'll get Mark Hamill into co-star this Let's Play. Wing Carrier Command. Making sure supplies and other material get where they need to be is not a glorious task. It is, however, critical when both in dealing with emergencies during smooth day-to-day operations. It gives bonuses to both fleet and governed colonies. Flagship and ships with an officer in command nearly guaranteed to be recoverable if lost. Governed colony, 15% accessibility. Same for level 2, with level 3 being 25% larger fleets. Level 2 is minus 25% supply use for maintenance, and plus 15 maximum combat readiness. Yeah, that'll be fun. Shortly after dispatching the parts, receive a tight beam communication from the system's main inhabited world, and Syra. The message is brief and asks you to travel there and contact Station Commander Kabrakan as soon as possible. Continue. Let's lay in a course for Syra. You don't need to do this to travel, but it helps keep track of where you're going and how long it'll take to get there. After finishing this dialogue, press E to open. Oh, I'm being summoned. BRB. Oh, hello folks, and at long last I'm back. Not that you would know the difference. You're probably thanking the silence. Thankful for the silence. So back after dinner. Boar drone, so not very sturdy. This combat modified mining drone is nonetheless capable of keeping hostiles off some other ship for a time. Filled with numbers, it can present even credible threat to smaller combat ships. Huh. Of course, for there, you don't need to do this to travel, but helps keep track of where you're going and how long it'll take to get there. I'm just missing this thing. Press E to open the info screen to view the details messages. Click message, click show on map. Okay. Also try tab. Press tab to open the map and locate it manually. But habitable. The hot temperature conditions of Syra necessitate specialized equipment to perform normal operations, complicating life support and infrastructure. These both actually cancel each other out, so that's handy. Of course. And they piled themselves. I was actually thinking a bit about Elite Dangerous. It sounds interesting, though I remember not being able to figure out if they're fine with the Let's Play policy. We're fine with Let's Playing. And it's apparently a bit flawed. Like, the quests are really generic, as bad as it was in EVE Online. It was very generic there. But, like, the quests were, like, you go to any station, like, okay, level 2 combat mission station, you'll get the same mission again and again and again to free the same ditzy heiress, or whatever she is, rich chick, Oji-sama, from the same crook. You've blown him up countless times and he's back again. It gets tiring, but with the other game, it's even worse, apparently. Like, it's I can't remember the reviewer guy, Mandalore Gaming or something. He was saying it's basically Cleverbot. So it's just like, the game looks cool. It seems like my cup of tea, but it just seems to be, kind of deeply flawed in ways that would be irritating to me. So I'm sad about it. And C is pretty far away, and it'll take a while to get there at this rate. The sustained burn ability is useful for long distance travel. Activating will briefly stop the fleet, reduce acceleration to a minimum, but the maximum burn level will be much higher. Sustained burn can be interrupted by other fleets, activating an interdiction pulse. Activate sustained burn to get to Syra more quickly. You can also press and hold shift to speed up time. Sustained burn, scavenge, interdiction pulse. Remote survey. Your fleet is getting closer to Ansira, which is controlled by the Hegemony, a major militaristic faction in the sector. While in Hegemony space, a fleet is required by law to identify itself by keeping its transponder on. This is a view shared by most, though not all, major factions. Turning on the transponder makes your fleet highly visible, and everyone seeing it will know who you are, unlike that pirate you fought earlier. Fleet you fought earlier, which you had to be very close to positively identify. Keeping your transponder on is a crippling disadvantage in hostile space, so we're getting closer to port and would like to dock there. It's a good idea to turn it on. Activate the transponder before getting closer to Ansia, divide both unwanted attention from patrols, and to receive docking clearance. Since turning it on and off is a major consequence, it requires a double tap to turn on or off, once to prime and once more to confirm. What did we pass by there? No idea. Your fleet approaches Ansira. Your fleet transmits identification codes via the transponder, and you're soon granted docking clearance. Open the comm directory. You connect to the local comm directory and browse public and otherwise known listings. You transmit the comms ID, and wait for the system to establish connection. Connection request is accepted surprisingly quickly, given that the citizen has many responsibilities. Ah, you've come. Excellent. As you're well aware, recently... Well, I suppose we can skip that part. Yeah, we all know the situation's less than ideal. Now where do I fit in? Refresher. We've been running experiments on the dormant gate in this system, trying to connect it back to the domain's gate network. Promising experiments, or so we thought, onto an energy pulse we expected we'll get a response from the gate to stabilize the jump points leading into the system, cutting us off from the rest of the sector. It's rather like how the sector is cut off from the domain, writ small. The stars have a sense of irony, do they not? The miners of the Denriku station, which is also located in the system and was operating near a subsistence level where it hit the hardest. They turned to piracy, intercepting one of the last food shipments to come in, out of desperation no doubt, but there were deaths. They put themselves well outside the wall. Their leaders know that if jump points are stabilized and the system is once again part of the sector, they would look forward to a life sentence at a penal colony at absolute best. Alright, now where do I fit in? The miners turned pirate are guarding the jump points, preventing us from gathering recent readings and coming up with a way to stabilize them. We do have a security detachment that could handle their forces, but they're tied up defending Ansira. Parts are too much for you to take on. Fortunately, you don't have to. We've got an agent on Denriku station who was able to gain access to recent sensor readings from ships guarding the jump points, but not been able to get out to a long-range comm relay to get to send the data to us. That's where you come in. Head to Denriku and retrieve the data from our agent, then return here. Why me? Why not? I'm not exactly spoiled for choice, and you've been shown some ability to handle difficulties. It's not going to be a milk run, that's for sure. What's the plan? First off, make sure to turn off your transponder once you undock. Instruct the security detachment not to give you any trouble about that. If you're lucky, the parts might even think you're one of their own and let you approach Denriku without any trouble. Still, it makes sense to go dark as you get closer, to make sure they can't get too good a reading on your fleet. And if they do notice me, then you're in trouble. Activate emergency burn to get out of there, lose them, then come back around to try again. Don't e-burn unless you really need to, though. It's hard on the ships, and it'll cost you more supplies to recover it from. Eats up a good chunk of fuel too. Very well. Excellent. Thank you for being willing to help. Come back when you got the data. Good luck. Go down to the bar. You take a shuttle down to the main concourse and quickly find a likely-looking establishment. You enter the crowded, well-lit space and take in the rows of taps adorning the walls and their bottles from every one of the core worlds, and a few from elsewhere. Merchant captains mingle with off-duty officers at the bar, served efficiently by the uniformed staff. One corner, a pack of Navy cadets shout and sing, desperately enjoying their last work shift of freedom. Security detachment supporting the opposite side. A hegemony orbital station dominates the orbit and prevents any hostile action aside from a quick raid, unless it's dealt with. The ships present are with the supporter station, efficient to prevent raiding as well. Yes, we'll try and engage these. Trade screen. Dismiss. Now we could go to the black market, but how about not? Not right now. We would want to be trying to sell, have gone dark and selling. Otherwise, they'll know it's us selling. Spot SRM. Ooh. As far as the second stage spread of high velocity kinetic penetrators when in range, heavy damage to shields, and massive EMP damage when impacting on enemy hull or armor. Difficult to stop, but with point defense. Fast and cheap. Talon sports. The Talon sports surprising firepower, it's capable of dispatching enemy fighters. It can also deal appreciable damage to larger ships when used en masse, though such usually results in heavy pilot losses. What they hinted at there I can explain if you're interested, which you cannot respond. Basically, there was this great... humans developed, jump gates, fucking stargates. Spread around the cosmos, then got cut off. And these are the remnants. The domain era was... The domain, I guess, was the previous ones. Was, the human empire called during that time. The domain or whatnot. So they're trying to. So yeah, things have fallen into turmoil. Different factions have risen and whatnot. It's the kind of thing like EVE Online, but instead of warp gates, EVE Online was a wormhole. The hegemony patrol skiffs slip between looming bulk freighters and the pitted halls of fighting traders that fill the port concourse. Upvoting ship captains are met crisply by hegemony logistics officer, cleared, then released to the crowds of traders, arms merchants, and commodity speculators. The fiery phoenix of the hegemony is projected onto a convenient bulkhead. The local navy recruitment center's comms ID scrolling around the flickering stars of the. The fiery phoenix of the hegemony is projected onto a convenient bulkhead. The local navy recruitment center's comms ID scrolling around the flickering stars of the domain. See the sector. Serve with honor. Restore the human domain. So now you can find a place, apparently, out in the cosmos. Apparently is meant to be Earth, or at least look like it, and you can, if you want, set up shop there. You can, due to a recent, I think it was this game. No, I think it was this game. Due to a recent update, you can now set down colonies and engage in factional warfare against the rest. Space Mountain Blade. Oh, actually, there is meant to be Mount and Blade. I keep saying Mountain Blade. But there is meant to be another game with very much that kind of shtick going on. I just haven't heard or seen much about it. I don't think there's on here I really need. Freelance administrators. Yeah. I'm sure waiter connection request is accepted. She looks over you appraisingly. Heard you might be getting into the colony business. If so, I might be of some help. Depends. What can you do? Also, you've heard that? You ask Shannon Underwood some questions to establish where her skills lie. Quickly becomes apparent that she has no special talents, but nevertheless capable administrator, whose services can be had for a very reasonable fee. in conversation. Then see on Cyrus Station is bastion of civilian research into hegemony space and a prestigious post sought by the graduates of the few remaining universities at the core worlds. Chancellor is a post outside of military hierarchy, emblematic of the normally independent executive directive of the institution. Can we say hi here? Com directory? Same as down there. And same here. Okay, the mining station over here. It's a relay. Scavenge. Assess. Shit, I really wish I had more people. Fuck it, let's give it a try anyway. Lost 2 heavy machinery. That's annoying. An enormous space station which can host shipyards, habitats, factories, or archipelagos of weapons and supplies. These platforms allow humanity to project military and industrial power throughout known space. Stable position. It's a point where you can like lay down your stuff. Like say put down a station of your own, I guess. Sorry, my mind just blanked. It was like, what did I just say? Oh yeah, it was the other thing. It was a stable point. From the sounds of it, from what I could skim read, seems to be where you could put down a station or whatever. Your fleet approaches Denriku mining station. Your fleet goes into orbit around it. The local port authority seems to take no issue with your explanation for why your transponder regrettably can't be turned on. The space is dark and filled with shouts, sweat, and pulsing music. Every wall and surface is pitted and stained by rough spacers, banging their mugs and laughing as a couple power crews posture for a fight. Gonna assume that one of the heavily augmented bouncers will spoil the fun before weapons are drawn. Gangers and pirate captains watch the scene smugly from smoke-filled booths at the back. Mercenary officer. After wait, your take on some help. Depends. What can you do? He's timid. He's got He's got gunnery implants level 1 and power grid modulation level 2. Combat, he will attempt to avoid direct engagements if at all possible, even if commanding a combat vessel. It wouldn't be bad actually to have him and stick him in the drone boat. I suppose it's not putting his gunnery implants to use, but stick him in the drone boat, he'll at least be able, he'll fit there. That wants to avoid direct combat. I'll be expecting 4,000 credits hiring bonus, and afterwards a starting salary of 700 credits a month. Once the initial transfer complete, I'll be ready to board within the hour. Can't afford that at the moment. Com directory. You contact the agent and exchange passphrases to identify each other's identities. Something death and taxes. The agent then transmits a data file with the recent raw sensor readings of the unstable jump points. Advanced turret gyros. Increase the turn rate of all turrets by 75%. Durability ship's engines by 100%. And wow. Increases the durability ship's engines by 100%, the ship's hull integrity by 10, I read that as 50 initially, and the ship's sensor profile is reduced by 50, meaning others have difficulty detecting you, I guess. The port concourse is filled with a few scarred hulls underlit by the flicker of ID chips being lasered off cargo containers. Armed pirate crews huddle around their ships, glaring and posturing challenges at rival crews. Our facility looks more poorly maintained than usual, with suspicious scorches and stains marring several bulkheads. Heavies at the port boss stare coolly, ready to use their weapons. Crew. Skilled personnel experienced in maintenance and day-to-day operations of space ships and smaller ground-based installations. Open comlink. Really hoping I wouldn't have to fight these. I probably should have emergency burned away, but I was hoping maybe we can talk it out, but no. Crash mothball some of your ships to prevent malfunctions. Huh. That's an autopilot. Okay, all my stuff is on auto fire. So where are they coming from? Just angle this fan away from me and turn it back on. Oh. Forgetting to... I'm too used to games with having shielding as inherent. Whoa, we actually destroyed it.